height, gentlemen. It's an honour and a...
Cruisers here.
Oh, I like it. Anyway, I've got a thing for cruisers, you know. I think I really like cruiserweights. I don't know what it is.
It's popular now, isn't it? It's getting popular.
It's big men, isn't it? It's like big men.
No, but you'd think then you'd be naturally drawn to heavyweights, but I don't know what it is, cruiserweight. There's something about the cruiserweights. I don't know if it's your power, I don't know if it's your size, I don't know if it's your strength.
Is it because when you're a cruiser, you have to be big, but you also have to be athletic enough to fit inside 90 kg? That's it.
And you need to be fast. You need to be able to, react quick enough and stuff like that. So I think it's a mixture.
Forgive my manners. I am joined by boxers, cruiserweights, Richard Riakporhe and the lovely Savage Dan. We are in beautiful Wolverhampton. I'm not claiming this city because I'm a Brummie, so let's just get that straight. But welcome to Wolverhampton.
It's the Midlands, man. We love it.
I was about to say, you're not from here?
No.
That's what I was thinking. I thought you said he's from here. I was like, what? Like, this is the first time I'm hearing it.
Savage Dan gets about, but I don't think he's from Wolves.
I don't think I've ever been to Wolves, you know. I was when I was driving up today, I just thought I was coming to Birmingham. And then they said, no, it's basically just next to Birmingham. Decent football club, though. Decent football club. I'll give them that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, they are decent for sure. Yeah, but
we're gonna cut straight to it, and the reason why I want you two in, good opinions, honest opinions from both of you, and I know that's what I get. Yesterday, I had the privilege of being in London at the Saudi event for December the 23rd. We talked cruiserweights. Riakporhe is going up against Ellis Zorro. The fights were made rapidly. The fights were made quick. I spoke to Richard off camera. We speak about energy of Riakporhe, and he said that he wants to collect every single belt and literally knock out you guys one by one. Richard, the fighter, talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's fight talk, isn't it? It's good promotion. It's going to bring more interest to the cruiserweight division. So, good luck with that, man. But we got other plans, though. You feel me?
Yeah, to be fair, I like Riakporhe. I think he's good. I never really paid him that much attention till around 12 months ago. I've always had this thing where I just feel like most fighters that come from Australia, New Zealand, they come over here and they're not quite at the races, but he seems like one of the ones that can actually mix it. Yeah, we got other plans. That's it. That's the facts. I like what he's doing. He looked really good against Jordan Thompson, so that would have got a lot of people's attention. Now he gets in there with Ellis Zorro, and I like Ellis. I'll be honest. I think Ellis is a good guy. Crazy opportunity for him. If he can cause an upset, it's cruisers. Of course you can cause an upset. Any cruiser can cause an upset. Just because Riakporhe looked so good against Jordan Thompson doesn't necessarily mean that's going to translate straight into an Ellis Zorro fight. So we'll see what happens.
We talk about the cruiserweights, and you said, it's fighting talk. That's what's expected to happen. We've got plans. When you talk about yourself fighting a fighter like him, I know we spoke, and I remember you said that, there was to in and fro in, and he wanted Jordan Thompson as a warm-up. That fight, if you was to have that fight with him, say for example's sake, you gain a belt, whether it's from Gullamarian, whether it's from Chris Billam-Smith, whether it's even from Badou Jack, who knows? Magical things can happen. And you go in there with Riakporhe, what do you bring to him that puts him on the back foot? Because right about now, everyone's like, he's the monster of the division.
Well, I feel, first of all, I can punch. I'm athletic. I'm intelligent as well. I've got some good IQ, especially against southpaws now. And yeah, it's going to be a thing where he's going to have to deal with what I bring, at the same time, because, fighting people like Jordan Thompson and Zorro is not really a good measure about how good you are. That's and no disrespect to them boys as well. They're my guys. Zorro, I know Zorro. I remember when Zorro didn't have an amateur career. Zorro's coming to the gym to spar me and Isaac back in the days. You know Zorro. I'm saying? He's cool, and I love his development. I love what he's doing for his daughter. I watch him all the time, and I'm a pure supporter of Zorro. But the level of experience that Riakporhe has against them guys, man, it's too vast. Trust me, it's too vast. Same as even Jordan Thompson, and we saw the result of that fight. So it's a whole different league when he comes against people like myself, people that know what they're doing there to a little extent, and they can fight as well. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I had to do as well. I didn't really have a big amateur career. I didn't go to the Olympics, so I had to fight to win. So it'll be much different from other fights, and that's why a lot of people want to see that fight. That's why everybody talks about that fight. You know, they just want to see it. But yeah, you know what? Boxing is crazy. You know, one thing could be here one day, then the next day is gone. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned in this game to focus on what's in front of me, and then we'll see how everything pans out. You just don't know.
You looking on as a spectator, somebody that, you know, like you said, you're a cruiserweight yourself, maybe not through the pro ropes, but yeah, you understand the sport. When you listen to Richard talk about the dynamics of his career and how he believes in himself to be the best cruiserweight in the division, he just needs that opportunity. I want you to be honest and take a step back. What do you see as Richard's attributes that he could take on and win a fight against someone like Riakporhe?
I think they're all there for people to see. Like, probably the hardest hitting cruiserweight out there. He's probably more measured than he has ever been in terms of maybe a bit more patient, waiting, having a look, setting traps. But ultimately, if it goes to, you know, into a war, he could do that as well. That's what he did for like most of those domestic wars. Yeah. He had to dig. And look, there's some crazy names on there. You know, we're talking about a world champion in Chris Smith, who he's already beaten. You're talking, that's someone who I think would even be a good match for Riakporhe in terms of, it's not like styles. I think Riakporhe, look, boxing fans were prisoners of the moment a lot. And you're as good as your last performance, and anyone who's on the up and up, they are now the next best thing until they get beat. And it's the same.
The fickle sport.
It's very fickle, and as soon as you get beat, you're a bum, and you were no good anyway. And it's just how we are. I can't explain it, but you're as good as your last bout. His last bout was very good, Riakporhe, and he's looked impressive. But he's not, for my liking, he's not looked unbeatable. Doesn't look.
I was gonna say that, you know, because a lot of people are talking about him, but the fact is that everybody's beatable. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their flaws, and it's all good to focus on, you know, all the good stuff. But the flaws, if you're not rectifying that, then, you know, there's more gaps, more opportunities and stuff, man. But 100%, he's definitely beatable, man. All of them are.
Everybody is beatable, and we talk about, and I'm going to go back to you again, Savage. We speak about road plans. I remember the very first boxer presser, because it was the first presser I got accredited to. The fight was October the 2nd, and Richard was coming back after 18 months. Richard was, yeah. Was it? No, it was about 18 months.
22 months. Yeah.
I stand corrected. It was a while, and I remember Sky Boxer getting behind him to build him. I was a fan of his when he used to box on the Matchroom cards. Always watched him fight, and I was seeing his trajectory, and I was seeing him move forward, and I was seeing him go towards those world titles, and then it's everything smashed. From a fan's point of view, and I'll always be honest, it's reputational damage now that Richard Riakporhe is having. He's literally got to jump back on the horse and build up that reputation he was building as a promoter.
I don't know if it's reputational damage. I think, and
You haven't listened to the fans then?
I know. I don't think I'm not sure if it's Richard's. You know, if you go in these comments, I'm not one that goes in comments and has a look often at what people are saying. I'd imagine it's more criticism of Boxer than it is of Richard. Am I right?
So then answer for Boxer.
Things are changing all the time. I wish you actually saw how quickly things are on and off the table, and how quickly disputes come and go, and all of a sudden something looks done, now it's not done, and now it's not even there. There's an opportunity that's there, and now it's not. The fight almost happened. It could have happened, but it didn't happen, and someone always has to take the blame for the fallout. I guess it has to be Boxer again, but it's just how it is, you know. There's a different route, and there's different opportunities, and even then there'll be things that happen that might confuse people or shock people, but there is a route.
And this is what we want to see, because, you know, we're fans of the sport. I'll always be a fan of the sport, and it's so nice to see when somebody's on the cusp of getting that world championship and finally goes from it. We can touch on literally Lawrence Okoli coming over. Literally, he's the big boy now. Richard gets put in a cupboard, then he goes and fights Chris Smith, and then Chris takes his belt, and then it's like the whole dynamics is changed. The world champion is a gentleman, all due respect to Chris, that you already beat.
Yeah, so
Dynamics are mad.
we're both novices. We're both novices coming up, and both undefeated, and we had to go for it, man. Sink or swim. That's what it was back in them days. Like they'll tell you, look, Rich, winner stays on, man. Sink or swim. That's what they'll say. That's how it was. But good thing about CBS, he put on a great fight, and even the fights after that, he won in good fashion as well. Beat some other, 50-50 fighters and stuff, undefeated fighters. So that's how he got his name up there. He built it.
Hard to beat.
I know he is. And
Hey, listen.
he's improved.
Yeah, I just think he's just one of those. Like he's only lost once to this man, but as in he is a hard, because he does everything at like an 8 out of 10. It's just like he's got a good engine. He's got a good chin. Can punch as well. He's got like a good shape. Like even when he gets tired, like so he's a tough boy. And to beat him, you need to have minerals, and you need to have something about it. And that's why everyone else that's come in front of him. Not saying they don't have minerals, but I'm saying you need to have something more in order to beat him. And obviously Bournemouth has now got behind him big time, and that would have given him a big edge against Okoli. But I still scored that fight pretty strangely. I couldn't really. I think I gave up after around round 6 because like I couldn't work out what the hell was going on. It was like I couldn't work it out, but I could see, obviously you could feel the crowd getting a little bit frustrated with Okoli's performance, but he was winning rounds still, not winning them big, but winning them. And then the rounds he lost them big, unfortunately. And
Funny, I remember watching. I was ringside, and I can't tell you. I don't even remember the fight. Like if you told me, yeah, do you remember when it happened? I wouldn't be able to tell you because it wasn't. I don't know what was going on.
The fact that a judge scored it, one judge scored it a draw.
Oh,
That says everything. No one knows what the hell what there wasn't there 114, 112, there was something in there. Someone had it a draw. That was a majority decision.
Yeah, it was a majority or something.
It was a strange fight to score. I actually haven't watched it back to try and rescore that. I should try and do that. I'm gonna try and do that. But bottom line, that was the WBO against the gentleman, and now the gentleman is the WBO holder, and we'd love for more of these belts to come back into the mix. But some of them are just tied up at the moment, and some of them have mandatory. Some of them are legal disputes here and there, and it's not as easy as it looks. Like, okay, he beat him, so let's make that fight happen. I wish it was, and it should be that easy, but it's not.
well, I'm going to ask you then, and it's always been a favourite fight of mine from many years ago. I've always wanted to see Richard Riakporhe versus Lawrence Okoli. That's always been the tasty
I wanted to
fight.
see that from the cinema, from when I saw it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I said that was the perfect time to capitalise on that, to build that fight back to boxer.
Yeah, but do you know what it is? Sometimes things are great for fans and better for fans than they are for the fighters.
Okay.
And not even just the money. Sometimes somebody's at a point in their career where they're after the money. And I don't care about world titles and all of that. I want the big profile fights which are going to get me the most money. And that sometimes doesn't always mean fighting for a world title. So like, and then you've got different. They both had a lot of options, and sometimes when you have options, you don't necessarily need each other right now. But so the risk is, if you don't take each other right now, sometimes that fight can never happen. So it's a weird one. Boxing.
It's always weird, isn't it? Because you have, especially when you're from the same country, let's say, for example, and you're under the same banner, you just know the fight is always there. Then you might have another option where you can make that fight even bigger. So then it goes back to the business side of things. Okay, let's make this chess move, and see how it pans out. And theoretically speaking, that should be way bigger, and we make way more money.
Yeah.
But then things different, like things change.
Yeah.
Things change, and then
I remember Khan Brook,
Yeah, but,
or even Khan. Well, I would say Khan Brook, because Khan went for Crawford and for Canelo, knowing realistically that the Brook fight's still there, regardless of these results. It was a slightly different circumstance, but it's frustrating for us. Of course it is, but I'm saying what works for us as fans isn't necessarily the same as what works for the fighters, or for the promotion, or for the broadcast, there's too many moving parts sometimes.
We talk about moving parts, and so may I ask then, where is a Coley in this mix? Because there's a little bit of confusion. I understand Richard is now in the mandatory spot. So whoever wins, Chris Billiam-Smith and Masternak, Richard Riakporhe, number one, mandatory. So Spencer was saying that trumps the alleged rematch clause with Lawrence Coley. Is that the case? I mean, there's so many questions I'd love to ask Ben, but I just can't get him on camera.
You know what I was going to say? This is probably one that I will say something, and it's probably changed since last week.
Right.
So yeah, that's one for Ben. Obviously, we want to see them all fight each other, but Rich has been waiting patiently, let's be honest,
Very patient.
for his world title shot. Gets past Saturday night, and he gets it.
I understand, Richard, and listen, any fight's a potential banana skin. At the end of the day, is experience. Anything can happen. I'm not expecting you to look past Saturday night, so I'm going to finish off with you just telling me a little bit about this opponent, what he's about, and how you determined to get that win on Saturday.
You know, I don't really know too much about this guy. Like I've seen him against Isaac in his last fight, and I think it was against Cizlak. But you know, I got my own plans, man. I don't care about what these guys have got, man. I'm just gonna smoke these guys, man. Simple. I'm saying I know what I need to do.
We love that, and that is the energy we want to see. Listen, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the presser, and I'll be out here causing havoc as usual.
On October Red, you know I say it every time. Like, comment, subscribe.
Come on, you know the drill.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.